Marketing analytics jobs have actually grown 60% in the past few years. But what do they actually do? You see the job title everywhere, Marketing Analyst. But what does it really mean? Spreadsheets, marketing campaigns, AI dashboards. In this video, I'll break it all down. And I'll explain in plain English so you know exactly what this job looks like on a day-to-day. Whether you're curious about starting a career in data or switching from marketing, or just wondering if this role is right for you, this video will give you a full breakdown. I'll show you what a marketing analyst actually does, who they work with, what tools they use, and the skills that make them successful. And if you're wondering whether you can break into this field without a background in data, stick around because I'll share tips for how you can do that. Hello, I'm Tommaso. I used to be head of marketing and I live and breathe the marketing analytics specifically every single day. I manage marketing analysts, worked alongside them to build dashboards, and I've done it myself, reviewed campaigns, optimized customer journeys, and so on. Now in recruiting, I work with marketing analytics leaders, which are the most common roles I actually also recruit. And most of them work for the biggest companies in the planet. So when I talk about this role, I'm growing from real conversations, real hiring needs, but also real work experience. Let's start with the obvious questions. What is marketing analytics? Marketing analytics is a field where you can analyze marketing data and you can turn them into insights to help the business grow. This means looking at what people do on the website, which ads are working, how customers behave, and what content actually resonates with people. We're going to talk about a real example later, but imagine a busy marketing team doing advertising, either on the internet or TV, banners, writing emails, doing push notifications on the app. The team is busy with several tasks and they all work together, but there's usually one or two key activities that drive the best results. And as a marketing analyst, you are here to do that. You actually analyze website user behavior. So where do people click? Where do they drop off? What makes them convert? You analyze advertising performance using Google Ads, Meta Ads, TikTok campaigns, etc. to understand what drives ROI. You analyze customer behavior. So how do people buy? What makes them churn? What is the customer lifetime value? You analyze emails and app engagements to understand where people click and what kind of content performs the best. You can also analyze social data, which, for example, is analyzing TikTok, Instagram, or LinkedIn analytics and understand what's driving users to engage. You also analyze revenue and sales data, so it can be quite commercial. And you can monitor key trends like click-through rate, conversion rates, bounce rates, ROAS, revenue trends. Marketing analyst sits at the center of it. So let's talk about a typical day and what it looks like. When I was working in marketing, I was managing a community of 100,000 people working online, similarly to freelancer.com or Fiverr, if you know these platforms. So there were always two things I used to do in the morning, which was checking how people were working with clients, and second, how many people signed up with our community and how many canceled the profile. These two key information were crucial for understanding what to do in my job. I would also analyze campaigns and how they performed, if there was a spike in traffic, for example, for a specific ad, or if the newsletter conversion drove positive result or not. I would go on GA4, Google Analytics 4, Looker to understand where people were going through the website. So there were a lot of things that I would do. And this is also what people do in their job. Marketing teams will want to know, are the ads converting? Should we shift budget? What is the ROI for each channel? And then there's reporting as well. You have weekly roundups, campaign debriefs, campaign per monthly performance, and a lot of other meetings that the marketing team might do. It's a mix of digging into numbers and jumping between tools and helping others make decisions. So who do you work with as a marketing analyst? You are probably working with different people within the marketing team. Head of director of marketing, campaign performance leads, CRM and marketing teams, pretty much anywhere, depending on what you need to do. For example, you can get the email marketing team asking what subject line worked best in our last campaign, or how did your welcome journey perform last month. And of course, there's the head of marketing, as we said before, always chasing for answers. Where's growth coming from? How did we do this month? How can we optimize conversions? So even if you are the one pulling the data, you're part of a strategic conversation. You're the person who usually turns chaos into clarity, hopefully. So what skills do you need? Let's keep it simple. If you want to break into marketing analytics, there are a few skills that are quite important. GA4 or Adobe Analytics, and you need them to understand how users behave on website or app, where they come from and what they do. You have SQL, even basic knowledge really helps access some data that you can manipulate and start working with. And obviously Excel is still the go-to platform for ad hoc reporting. And obviously you need solid grasp of marketing, what are ROAS, CTR, conversion rates, bounce rate mean, and interpret them properly. So if you got those, you're already a lot far and you are almost ready to do your marketing analytics job or to apply to jobs. But we can definitely talk about this a little bit later. But now we want to try to imagine this in a real company so that you can understand it really well. For example, let's say there is one only marketing analyst working for Apple in the world. It's not like that, but let's make it real. You're not just pulling numbers, you're the go-to data person in marketing. One day, for example, the performance team wants to know why Facebook ads suddenly cost more per each purchase. So you dig into data and find that one audience segment, people aged 25 plus, isn't converting anymore. The insights, for example, can save millions of pounds. Next, the email team launches a reactivation campaign to see active lapsed customers who didn't purchase in the last 12 months. And you want to measure which subject line worked, track open rates, and even spot customers who clicked on a certain image, and come back about 2 weeks later. Then if, for example, the head of marketing wants to understand customer lifetime value by acquisition source, and you pull a 6-month report showing the customers from Google search actually open 30% more than those that open through another platforms. You analyze, for example, website analytics, and you give the marketing team a clear view of what's driving results. Also, you check how store sales are going. You find, for example, that the store in Regent Street in London sold 10% more than the average sale of the last 30 days. And this is unusual, so you would want to find out what happened. And you realize that, for example, it was because of a new promotion that the local store did. So you got to talk to the head of marketing and you say, all the other stores in the world need to do the same because it works. And then a very typical question. A lot of people within marketing, they ask me, can I break into marketing analytics without knowing SQL, Python, or anything else? And I've seen content creators, marketers, or even people from admin and customer support move into marketing analytics. So if you have no experience, start by tracking your own analytics on LinkedIn or TikTok, run a small email campaign on your Instagram followers, or set up a Google Analytics account for your personal website. There's several ways you can get into marketing analytics. It depends on what your past experience is. The easiest way to get this role, for example, is either if you are a marketer who wants to be more technical or an analyst who wants to specialize in marketing. Whatever profile you have, remember that the most important thing you must have is technical knowledge. Excel is a must skill, so you need to be very proficient with it. And marketing knowledge, understands advertising, sales, and how marketing works. So you can apply this knowledge to a new area. Then if you want to go more in depth, having experience with GA4 is really important. It is a main tool that companies use nowadays to track user behavior. If you know how to use SQL, even better, you can learn it through Code Academy, for example, to have a decent understanding of SQL to apply to marketing analytics roles. But marketing analytics can be a lot more complex. You can get into advanced analytics, for example, if you know Python, where you will be able to create predictions, which are key to help the marketing team not only understand what happened and why, but what would happen in the future if they do certain actions. You can also get, for example, in data engineering, within marketing analytics, if a company, for example, wants to build a complex marketing analytics dashboard, pulling data from Facebook, TikTok, the company dashboards, and through other API platforms, for example. So you can be a lot more technical. So my honest opinion is that marketing analysts are the unsung heroes in the marketing world. They tell you what worked, what didn't, and what to do next. So there are far too many marketers out there who think they can predict stuff. I was one of them, for example, which is true, but up to a certain extent. Good marketing analysts are capable to prove them wrong, and that's why it could be so valuable. If you love marketing analytics, but also enjoy data, testing, solving problems, and if you want to get a job in data, stick around. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe, check out the links below, and then see you in the next videos.